right, welcome out to another episode of Drake's Dungeon. We took last month off because the team has been hard at work working on the biggest release in over a year, and it's coming faster than we thought because they've been, like I said, working hard on getting this out to you guys as soon as possible. That's right, Command Center 18 is coming this week, folks. It is coming this week. And here to talk to you about it today, we have our lead designer, Young Russell. Welcome back to the show, Young Russell.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Drake. It's great to be here.
It is great to have you. This whole episode is just going to be about CC18. We're going to talk a little bit about at the end about the next event and the new unit, which is a great unit. But everybody is wanting to know about CC18. All the questions that I've been getting from the community for the last month is about CC18, and everything is Command Center 18 related. So we are going to kind of go through today some of the main features that are going to be going out with Command Center 18. We're going to be kind of talking about the advantages, how you can use some of this stuff, what this is going to really do, how this is going to change the game a bit. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right into this. So, Young Russell, you came here, you came to tell us what it's about. Let's kick it off. What is one of the first things that is going to be different about Command Center 18?
One of the first new things is typically when we release a Command Center update, we really increase the defensive capabilities of players' bases. And that leads to an overall shift in the meta to defenses being a lot more powerful than they were before the release of that CC. So think about, adding Dragon's Teeth and low wire entanglements, increasing turret levels, all these things that defenders get that make it harder to attack bases. Mm-hmm. And it really does shift things. What we are going to be doing this time to somewhat balance that out is introducing a new building, the Tactical Ops Center, the TAC Ops Center, and it will increase the damage output and decrease the damage taken of units attacking other players' bases. Okay. So not only will it be not only will the CC have defensive things, which we'll discuss later, it'll also help players when they're attacking other players' bases.
So it'll buff you, and it will debuff them.
It won't debuff them. It will in a way. So how it'll work is, let's say you bring in 10 units into another player's base. Those 10 units will do more damage and take less damage.
Okay. That's pretty cool. I love how in the office we call it TAC Ops for short, but yes, the way it's spelled, it looks like Taco PS. Yes. And then, but like, I'm really bad with things being shortened, so I'm like, Tac Ops or Tacos, and so I'm like trying to is this like a new Canadian taco like that I don't know about because I'm American, and I'm like, what are those Canadians up to? And so I'm trying to think of what kind of tacos are they eating up there? And then it takes me a while. I'm like, oh, the TAC Ops, right? That's just me. But anyway,
I don't think we have tacos in Canada. Is that like a Donair? What is that?
I actually heard, and this is a slight tangent, but this is important for anybody visiting Victoria. I actually heard you guys don't have Taco Bell in Victoria.
In our city, which let's call it a city, is correct. We don't have a Taco Bell in the city. We have to travel about an hour and a half north to, in fact, a smaller city to buy Taco Bell.
Yes. So if you are planning on a trip to Victoria in British Columbia, you're going to need to pack your own Taco Bell because it's not there. It's not there, folks.
And two, if you're planning a trip to Victoria, British Columbia, unfortunately, I will not be able to meet you because I'll be busy working on War Commander.
There you go. All right. So, the TAC Ops, though. Is there anything else about the TAC Ops, the Tactical Operations building, that you can tell us?
Right now, it's going to be a pretty straightforward building. There's not going to be a lot of interaction with it other than just leveling it up and increasing the amount of buffs that it gives. In the future, we have some more plans for uh, more targeted buffs for certain types of units, but that'll be for maybe CC19.
So definitely, this building opens the door for a lot of future iterations, a lot of things that can not just change the game right now, but a whole mess of ideas that can come, down the road.
Absolutely. With any big launch, and I'm sure anyone who works in the game design industry knows, with any big launch, there's certain features that just didn't make it, unfortunately. And those features are not lost. They're saved, and they will be worked on for the next CC. So there's things that are already planned out and ready to go.
That's excellent. Okay. All right. So aside from the tactical operations building, what else can we expect from Command Center 18?
Well, I have a story for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Back when I was a junior associate
I
designer,
already know where you're going, and I love this. All right.
back when I was a junior associate designer, and I hadn't proven to everyone any of my abilities yet. We released Dragon's Teeth and Low Wire Entanglement, and I thought that was fantastic. It was a way for vehicles and infantry to be slowed down in a base. But around that same time, we had a major issue, and that was legendary raptors were so fast
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of projectiles could not hit them, meaning they were essentially invincible.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, why don't we have something for air that can do that? And so I thought about it for a while. Then I pitched it to my game design lead at the time. I said, why don't we introduce like air mines like deep sea depth charges, but they're in the air, they're floating.
They're in the air. Yeah. Yeah.
And when you can place them wherever you want to, and it'll be an area denial thing when players release their legendary raptors. They'll go through and hit them and be slowed down or destroyed. And he was very receptive to it. Okay, that's not true. He laughed in my face and told me that it was a dumb idea.
This has been kind of an inside joke for quite a long time amongst the team. Like whenever we talk about new features in the games, we always kind of throw out there like, well, we could always do air mines. It's always kind of
while everyone else has been joking about adding air mines, I've been deadly serious about adding air mines to the game. And now that I'm design lead, I finally have the ability to add them. So I'm taking my opportunity, and if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to add these air mines to the game.
You got some power. You give him an inch, and he thinks he's a ruler.
That's it.
No, but honestly, this is a good idea, though, because one of the pain points in PvP is sometimes people just get rushed by all these raptors and high, all these vehicles will get kind of spammed in a base really quick, and people don't have defenses against them. And this is a way to defend against them. So this gives people a bit more of a fighting chance against some of those hit and run tactics that are harder to really form a strong defense against.
Exactly. So the way it'll work, it'll behave differently than the historic ground mines that you've placed. This will be more of a building akin to a drone silo that you'll place on the ground, and then when the battle starts, there will be an interval timer, and after that interval timer goes, let's say it's 5 seconds, the air mine, let's call it, will spawn above the building, and then when a unit gets close enough to it, the air mine will target it and rush towards it and explode, acting almost like an airborne detonator. And so you can place that building wherever you want to, and then it'll keep on replenishing air mines after each one dies. So you won't have like a whole bunch spawned at once, but once the first one gets destroyed, and assuming the timer's already happened, the next one will spawn. So there will be a somewhat continuous supply until that building is destroyed.
So you'll want to target that building to take it out before you can use strategies like raptors and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think it's one of those things too where it has. I think too, it was kind of originally a joke, and then people kind of been like, yeah, but air mines though. And then, like, you know, we started like kind of
You
thinking
know,
about it.
first they laugh at you, then
Yeah, and it was kind of one of those things. And I think there were some technical issues at first with it, and then because when we actually did start taking you seriously and we're looking into it, we're like, yeah, this could be a thing. But then there were some technical issues, and you know, it did take some time to figure it out. But now that it's actually been figured out and we can actually do it, yeah, it's an actual reality. But this has been like a thing that it's been like 3 years or something like that
yes,
that has been a thing that's been on your mind. So also just bravo to your commitment on this one.
absolutely.
Like most people don't even like stick to a diet for 3 weeks, and you have stuck to this idea for 3 years. So that's very impressive.
Yes, I've been testing out various iterations of Airmind for the last probably year and a half, and so it's great to see that we've struck on one that uh, feels good, makes sense for the game, and I think looks pretty cool too.
And it's not overpowered, so it's not like ground mines where you can put like a dozen of them out there.
Yeah,
Like this is a one at a time thing where you know it does have to still be within range. There's a limitation to it. There's a way that players can strategize around it by taking out a building.
yeah,
There's some thought to it, so it's not a little overpowered or anything.
exactly. Yeah, I think it'll be a good strategic item, and it's not going to totally shift the balance of anything.
Okay. Now, there's one thing, and I might be jumping the gun on this one, but there's two new bastions that are coming out that I think are
Yes.
really cool. If you want to talk about those.
Yeah, so we've made changes to some of our bastions in the past. I think last time we introduced the ability for the missile defense bastion to also stop mercenaries from deploying.
Hmm.
But we haven't added in a new bastion in a while. And so we decided that we wanted to add some more of those because I think that they offer a really cool gameplay opportunity. Uh, so we were adding two. The first one is uh, right now its working title is the medical bastion.
Hmm.
That might change, but essentially how it works is the same way that uh, some of our previous healing units works, where it'll have an aura around it of a certain size, and every X number of seconds, it'll heal allied units for a certain amount of health uh, in a pulse sort of thing. So, any units that are nearby it will have their health somewhat restored during a battle. Um, and so it'll give you a bit more time for some of your units to stay alive for while they're defending your base.
Now, I know this question will be asked of me in Discord and forums, but will that include buildings or is it just going to be units?
It'll just heal units. It
Okay.
won't. It won't have any effect on buildings yet.
And okay, all right, cool. So the units that are around it will get a nice little refreshing, uh, little mist. Is it like a
Yeah,
little
let's
spritz?
say it's like a little spritzer. Yeah,
Yeah, a little
there you go.
spritz.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an Aperol spritz.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. All right.
And so that one's very exciting because we've we I think we introduced healing mechanics back with Logan, I think,
Yep.
and then we introduced them as well with the buckler.
And the
For
little robot dogs that
Yeah,
everybody wants a robot dog now.
yep, exactly. So we have it with that as well, and so I really wanted to find other ways to use it because I had mentioned in a previous podcast that we were wanting to find more ways to use that healing functionality in a way that wouldn't just make the game unplayable for some players, and I think this is a great way to do it because it'll help your defense, and if you're purposefully playing like on invasion or something like that, you can choose which guys are near the bastion. So I'm very excited for it.
Awesome. And then
Um,
the other bastion.
yeah, the other one's a bit more complicated, but I think it is a thing that makes a lot of sense for our game. It's called the Tactical Backup Bastion. You can think of it as a giant alarm bell.
Okay.
So essentially, how it works is uh, if this bastion does not get destroyed within X number of seconds, so let's say it survives for 30 seconds or more, it will send out an alarm and it'll spawn in a preset platoon of units to help you defend your base.
Okay.
So let's say you are allied with the Sentinels and you have this bastion in your base, someone attacks you, and they don't destroy this bastion for X number of seconds. Uh, Somewhere around the outskirts of your base, a small contingent of Sentinels units will come and help you defend that base.
Awesome. That's kind of cool. And this will be determined by which faction you're aligned with.
Yes, exactly. So we have it set up for which faction you're allied with.
That is awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really cool. That's a nice little mechanic. And so, if you're basically attacking the base and you see one of these bastions, then you're definitely going to want to try to take that one out.
exactly. Just one more thing that you should be targeting first before you target other things. Or, at least if you don't want to target it, you can at least expect some backup to come to try
Right.
to stop
So
you.
so if you can't get to it because the defenses around it are too good, then you best be ready for some trouble coming your way.
You got it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So what else? What else? I mean, you can't have a new command center upgrade without upgrading the command center. What else do we got?
So speaking of command center, we are going to be doing something we haven't done in a while, which is adding new command center turrets.
Okay.
What I was wanting to do for this is uh, sort of simplify what the best options are for command center turrets. We've had a lot in the past, and some of them, like the stealth turret and shield turret, are just great support options. But when it comes to the damage dealing turrets, there's a bit of a mix and match sort of situation. There's some that kind of feel similar, some that don't feel quite as good as other ones. So there's sort of a large variety. And what we're wanting to do for this is release a system where there's 3 new turrets that do damage. One does area, one does burst, one does sustain, uh, and try to keep them all very similar in terms of damage. And then we're also going to be releasing a 4th support turret that will buff nearby allied units when it comes to range and possibly other things.
Okay. So that's a lot of new turrets then.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's more turrets than already exist for it.
There's probably about 5 turrets,
Okay.
6 turrets right now, if you
Okay.
include support turrets.
All right. So okay. So we're almost doubling. Oh, so getting close.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
feel like the CC turrets, the command center turrets, have been a bit neglected when it
Yeah.
comes to new ones, and I'm wanting to rectify that.
Yeah, so that's a pretty healthy upgrade to the command center itself. Then.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, we'll be having a new level for the command center 18, of course, and other new things as well. But yeah, it'll be nice to have new visuals as well, and new power levels coming from your command center itself.
Okay. Yeah. So are there any other major things that are coming out with this?
There are a few things. The only other major thing that is worth noting, we are going to be offering Generation 2 heavy platforms.
Oh, cool.
And then in the coming months, we're going to be offering Generation 2 heavy turrets to attach to them.
So this isn't even the end necessarily of the CC18 upgrades that's coming out next week. Like there's more stuff coming down the road.
That's exactly it. So there was so many things that I had asked for this command center launch that we couldn't fit them all into the time we had. So we're going to be releasing some of the other things as we go into the next few months as well. So
Okay.
yeah, we don't want to save it
Yeah.
all for once a year.
Well, that's good too. Gives people more time to kind of spread out what they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then on top of that too, like a whole bunch of other buildings are going to get regular level increases as well. So not just the things that we talked about, but other buildings are going to get upgrades and health upgrades and stuff like that on top of this. So yeah, like that's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I'm
these
really
are
excited
all
for it.
yeah. I think this is one of the more interesting upgrades that we've really done in a while because, like you said, like usually we have just a lot of the upgrade stuff, a lot of the health upgrades, a lot of the things that give you some bonuses here and there. But it's been really a while since we've done a lot of stuff that is going to shake up the way that people play the game a little bit. And I think there's a nice little shake up here, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, yeah. If there's one thing that I am wanting to try to do with everything that is released, is I want to surprise anyone who plays the game with new things being added to a game that's, 10 years old now, I think.
Yeah, yeah, we had our
A
10-year
lot of
anniversary a
games
while ago.
after
Yeah.
a year stop getting updated, and then you sort of know what you can do with it. But I think that with War Commander, there's a lot that we can make happen in it, and I want to really, see how we can bend the game and make it do new things, and kind of go from there.
Well, and these updates aren't just like updates. These are updates that pave the way for more updates, which
Yes.
which I
Yeah.
think is the more interesting thing about it than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, we also have an event that's going to be part of this update that's coming next week. So we have Operation Cold Promises. Ooh, I wish it were colder, man. Here in the U.S., like I'm in Portland, Oregon, and our weather right now for folks that go by Fahrenheit, we've been going between 80 and 100 for the last uh, couple weeks now, and that's very very hot for Celsius folks. That's like 30 to 40. Um, and so if you hear like a weird hum in the background, it's because I'm recording this with my fan on because it's too warm for me to not have my fan on. But I could go for some cold promises. But this event is kind of a big deal for a couple of reasons because we have the return of an old enemy that we haven't seen in a while, an old enemy that's a little more grown up, by the way. So who's coming back, young Russell?
Uh, Once again, coming back with a thirst for thorium and a large army behind him is Mutoto and his Eastern Horde.
That's right.
We've seen them a few times in the past, and I've definitely enjoyed them whenever they've appeared, and I am very excited to bring them back. And over the next few events while they're here, I'm hoping to really flesh out what the Eastern Horde looks like.
But on top of that, the biggest thing about this event is we've been having a lot of fun with our experimental units for over a year now. We've been having these experimental units. We've had the solar units. We've had the dervish units. When we're fighting the dervish, we had the sonic units. We've had our depleted uranium units. All these types of things, and we've called those units the Series 1 units. Well, now this is our very first drum roll. Series 2 unit. Our Corpus Hyperion is our first Series 2 unit, and it is the new line of solar units. What can you tell us about the Hyperion, young Russell?
The Hyperion is as with a lot of Corpus things, it is a person in a giant mech suit,
It's a
essentially.
sweet mech.
He has one giant gun arm.
Artista was on here on the last episode, who's our lead artist, and he gushed and gushed and gushed about how much he loves mechs. So he definitely designed this, and when you guys see it, you'll definitely know that this was him that designed it.
Yeah, it's like I was so like you said, it's Corpus. It's Series 2. Finally, we've reached the end of Series 1, and we can start the whole thing again. But it's exciting to be able to have more solar units to go alongside, the Helios, which was actually, I think, the first unit that I made in the game.
Oh,
Um,
really?
and so it's nice to sort of see that come back. Um, and also, it's nice to introduce uh, a new enemy type, Eastern Horde in this case, as also being thorium armor shared with Vercraft. So um, it's nice to be able to do that. And yeah, it's kind of cool being able to have a theme with it, not just a soldier that shoots bullets. It's nice to be able to have a bit more flair to what it does. So it'll shoot more solar based weaponry, and it'll have a bit more personality to it. The other thing that we should mention about Series 2 units
Hmm.
is the each unit will come with what I'm calling variant tech. And so with each unit, it'll function in one way. So let's say it's a unit that shoots a machine gun.
Okay.
Its variant tech might be converting a machine gun into a grenade launcher.
Okay.
But the idea is not that the variant tech makes it stronger. It won't change the overall damage output. It'll just change the functionality.
So make it a little
So
bit more versatile.
more versatile. So yeah, you can choose how you want to have this unit engage in battle, and you can customize it for each battle ahead.
So you can
Uh,
make a platoon that is full of them that use hypothetically machine gun, and a platoon that makes hypothetically grenade launcher, and you have one for one situation and one for another.
exactly.
That's
So
pretty cool.
yeah, it will, and this comes for free with it. So it's not like we're uh, making you pay more
Yeah,
for
you
more
automatically get
functionality.
it.
You'll
It's just
automatically get it,
comes with
and
the package. Yeah.
just go into the workshop. You can equip it for free, and it'll sort of give a new light on how the unit works. Um, so that's what we're going to be doing for all of our Series 2 units. Um, Definitely, as per everything we do in War Commander, feedback is fantastic. So if you are able to go into the Discord and let us know what your thoughts are on it once it comes out, or even in the comments of this video,
And the
let us know.
monthly surveys as well is always
Monthly
good.
surveys as well. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So there's lots of ways to give us feedback, and it's not like we just get a bunch of reports and toss it in the garbage. We actually read.
We
We actually read
legitimately do.
what's
We
going on.
don't we don't respond to everything because there's just always so much feedback.
Yeah,
But believe me, like part of my job is to literally go through all that stuff and create reports for the team. And believe me, like every week I go through and report a lot of this stuff to the team, like all the time. They hear from me constantly about what you guys are saying. So
yeah. And even if we don't have a chance to fix or change the exact issue that you're referring to, we will keep that problem in mind when we come across a similar thing, and treat that one differently accordingly to your feedback. So it
absolutely.
definitely does affect the future of the game.
Absolutely. All right, so you can get all this and more on Wednesday, August 3rd. That's right. Command Center 18 is going live on Wednesday, August 3rd. That's where we're going to be having our downtime at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I guess what daylight time with all the daylight savings times and all that going on. So it'll be Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We'll be having our downtime. And when we come back up, CC 18, Command Center 18, and all the glory that we just described to you will be available. And Thursday, August 4th, is when Operation Cold Promises is going to be available for you to start playing. And that's where you're going to be able to get the first Series 2 Corpus unit, Solar Hyperion. So lots of content is going to be coming out in that July 28th update. So much cool stuff, guys. I'm excited. This is probably like our biggest release of the year coming up next week, and it is exciting. So, young Russell, thank you so much for taking the time to go over this. This is a big one. You have been working so hard. You and Kiriel have been leading the charge on getting Command Center 18 really just getting all that. But on top of that, our whole QA team has been working hard testing it. All the designers have been working hard. So this is just amazing. You guys have just been doing excellent work. So I can't wait for the players to get their hands on it and just have fun with essentially the next wave of the future of War Commander.
Absolutely, and thank you, Drake. Now, how do I get out of this dungeon?
Oh, left, screaming half bat, half human thing. That's where you take a right, and then a little hole that has some weird dripping mucusy stuff. Crawl through that, and then there is something with teeth. You give it a little bit of flesh, and then it will move out of the way, and that's your exit.
Perfect. Thank
All
you again.
right. Once again, everybody, thank you for playing War Commander, and we'll have another episode of Drake's Dungeon for you soon. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.